Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the one and only Wrestling Otaku channel. Of course, your personification of excellence on YouTube and YWC, and we're the best reviews wrestling. And I'm back here. It is now Tuesday night, October the 22nd of 2024. So I wanted to go ahead and make this video here because this is actually something that I've been thinking about doing for a while. Just, again, wanted to get back to doing regular wrestling content here on this channel. I do other stuff. Well, I do sports content, of course, Ravens, Orioles. But this is just something I've been thinking about for a while, doing for a while. And it pertains to AEW, and specifically it pertains to, I guess you could say, the creative direction in AEW and the faults that people seem to have, or the issue that most people seem to have with AEW and their creative direction. And I just thought I'd address that here. I guess you could call this somewhat of a fantasy booking video if you want to call it that. So I'm here to talk about AEW's creative direction. Specifically, I'm going to focus on one storyline that they're doing right now, and that being the MJF-Adam Cole rekindling of their storyline, or restarting, or however you want to put that, repackaging of the storyline that they're doing right now. And I got some, just basically, first I'm going to give my thoughts on what I think of it right now, because I see a lot of people criticizing it. I see a lot of people talking about it ever since Wrestle Dream, since they both returned. And I'm just going to give you my interpretation of it and what I think they can do going forward. Before I do that, let me just say this for a second, because people, I understand that I have this image, I guess you could say, of, from other people, specifically people who maybe, don't really like me or don't take to me all that well, or whatever the case may be, who seem to think that I'm just this blind AEW supporter. I'm this big AEW mark. All I do is praise AEW and I don't criticize it. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you actually pay attention to the videos that I do, the content that I've done in the past, not necessarily on this channel, because, on my previous channel as well, I've done videos where I've talked about AEW and things that I think they can that they could improve on. I've even stated this on my social media posts, on Facebook, on Twitter, or X as it's called now, here on YouTube with community posts. I've had, in my own way, constructive criticisms in regards to AEW and things that they've done. Case in point, earlier this year, when they showed the surveillance footage from All In from a year ago, from an incident that shouldn't even be mentioned or talked about right now, the whole CM Punk Jack Perry thing. I gave my thoughts on that. I said AEW shouldn't have done that. They didn't need to do that. Okay? They need to just move forward and do their own thing. And I've said it before. I even said it recently. When it comes to people, when it comes to this negativity on social media, when it comes to Tony Khan and these other talents responding, to these people, these individuals, these voices, these podcasters on social media. I've even said it, stop giving that shit, stop feeding into it. Stop feeding into it, just do your own thing. And in regards to AEW themselves, in terms of their on-screen products, I've given criticisms in the past as well. It's just that a large portion of what I do, the content on here, or the videos that I do and the things that I state, I am, in a way, is overly positive. I'll say that. I do try to stay positive. I can't try to keep a positive, open mind when it comes to things like this, when it comes to things like AEW, because there's such obvious negativity. There's such an obvious agenda against AEW right now. There's such an obvious agenda against what they're doing. There are people who intentionally go out and try and basically bastardize everything the company does. They find fault. They look for things to not like about it. They try and pinpoint, and they try so hard to make the company and the people in it look bad. And it's like, for anybody who seems to think that all I do is talk positive and all I do is praise AEW, it's like, you're not paying attention. I try to stay more I try to stay more positive in regards to it, because if you give these people, if you give these parasites on social media an inch, they'll take a mile when it comes to shit like that, when it comes to negativity. But I have had constructive criticism, and I have been critical of AEW in the past. And I'm going to prove that again here in this video. Now, is AEW perfect, in terms of the storylines? No. Are there things they can improve on? Is there room for improvement? Are there things that they can be criticized for? Absolutely. I've even said it. I've even stated it in the past. There's room for improvement. There's a whole lot of room for improvement. But the thing about it is, with me, it's not as bad as these people are making it sound. You know, you listen to some of these other people on social media, these podcasters, these content creators here on YouTube, these people on these social media posts and whatnot. They try to make AEW sound like it's the worst wrestling promotion in history. They sit here, these people literally legitimately sit on here, and they liken AEW, they compare it to WCW 2000 and TNA from the 2010s, and it's nothing, not even close. It's not even close to being that bad, folks. It's not even close. You compare AEW's pay-per-views even to this year. You compare the pay-per-views and the things they do on their pay-per-views and their pay-per-view shows to the WCW pay-per-views from back then. It's not even a fucking comparison. AEW blows them out of the water quality-wise. That's just me personally, and anybody can do. Anybody out there listening to this, take an AEW pay-per-view from this year and compare it to a WCW pay-per-view from 2000, and you'll see what the difference is. Same thing with TNA. Very obvious difference. But people try to act like AEW is the worst thing ever. They say that you got people legitimately sitting up here likening Tony Khan to Vince McMahon, and there's no fucking comparison there either. You take all the sex allegations and the misconduct and all the things that Vince McMahon is being accused of and is being basically on trial for, that he's being sued for, with the freaking Janelle Grant lawsuit, the Ashley Mazzar situation, the Rita Chatterton, and everything else that this man has been known for, everything that this man is being exposed for right now. You take all that stuff out of the equation. Tony Khan is nothing like Vince McMahon. Nothing like him. Do we hear stories of wrestlers coming out and saying, oh yeah, Tony Khan, you know, he made me do this. He made me say this. Oh, he came out and he made me say this back in Gorilla. Or, you know, do we hear stories of commentators or announcers and shit coming out saying that Tony Khan, you know, basically ordered them to say this and that, this and that? No, we haven't heard shit. Tony Khan doesn't micromanage his talents and his wrestlers and the people in AEW like fucking Vince did in WWE. It's not even a fucking comparison. And if he did, we would have heard it by now. And if that was the case, the CM Punk shit wouldn't have happened. The CM Punk situation wouldn't have happened the way that it did. And if there is a criticism to be had of Tony Khan, it's that he does allow too much freedom in certain instances. Like, again, CM Punk even said it. Like when he fucking did that podcast on freaking, what was that dude's name? The fucking MMA guy, the MMA Hour, Ariel Helwani. He went on this podcast, basically said, you know, he asked Tony Khan to do something about Jack Perry. He said, well, what do you want me to do? It's like, there you go. You didn't see Tony Khan fucking, oh, you got to do this. Oh, you should say this, that, and the third. No, he didn't do any of that. So I don't understand where people get this idea that Tony Khan and Vince McMahon are so similar. They're not. They're not. Have there been instances of Tony Khan doing things similar to Vince? Yes, there have. With the whole Lucha Brothers situation, not letting him out of the contract is one example, and I got problems with that. But that's another topic for another time. But the point that I'm trying to make here, folks, is Tony Khan is nothing like Vince McMahon. Not even in the slightest. Not even in the slightest. And they try to act like Tony Khan is some terrible booker. I've listened to people say, even people I've talked to, and people say Tony Khan is, oh my God, Tony Khan is a terrible booker. He's the worst booker of fucking wrestling. I disagree. Strongly disagree with that assessment. I strongly disagree with that assessment. There have been guys who have been way worse for way longer in terms of pro wrestling, in terms of creative, than Tony Khan ever has. You look at all of AEW's pay-per-views this year. Every single one they've done. Even the lesser ones, like Wrestle Dream and Dynasty. Every single pay-per-view this company has done. Easily a top-notch pay-per-view. Top-tier quality pay-per-view. Every single show they've done, every single pay-per-view they've done this year, has been a strong candidate for a pay-per-view of the year. Tony Khan is behind that. You know, and Tony Khan, he's the one behind that. He's the one who books it. He's the one who produces it. And I'm sure, and I'll say this again, I do believe he needs help. In regards to the weekly shows, you know, not every single show is going to be a home run hit. Not every single storyline, segment, promo, not every single angle is going to be a home run hit. And that's, I think, where they can improve on. I think, you know, there's room for criticism there. There's room for improvement there. And, you know, you could list a number of examples, even recently. But to act like, but people try to spin it like, oh, this is the worst stuff ever. And it's not even close. I'm not saying there's not room for improvement. I'm not saying they can't be criticized. I'm saying that it's not as bad as people try to make it out to be. And then instead of actually providing constructive criticism and this, that, and the third, these people go on social media and they want to sit here and take shots at the wrestlers. They want to take shots at Tony Khan. They want to sit here and crack jokes about the attendance numbers. Oh my God, half-empty arena, shit like that. They want to crack jokes on the fucking viewership and the ratings and shit like that. When, truth be told, WWE was in the exact same spot. Not even 5 years ago, before the pandemic. They were having half-empty arenas, couldn't sell out pay-per-views. Raw and SmackDown, half-empty arenas. They were getting all-time low ratings, all-time low viewership numbers for Raw and SmackDown before the pandemic. And it just so happened to turn that shit around. It took Vince McMahon being ousted, but it happened. So why can't it happen for AEW? But people are trying to sit here and act like, oh, this is the death nail for AEW, and oh my God, they're going out of business. They're not going anywhere anytime soon, folks. They literally just signed a contract extension with WBD, and they just became the second most profitable wrestling promotion in the world, in the States at least. So how does this make AEW? How does this mean AEW is going out of business? Oh, they're a dead promotion. Blah 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 blah. All this fucking shit. Makes no fucking sense to me. Makes no sense. But that is not to say. Getting kind of back to my main point. Sorry, I just had to state all that and go off on that tangent. But that is not to say that AEW is not without criticism. And I do think that there's room for improvement there, in terms of the creative, in terms of what they do storyline-wise. One of the angles, I should say, that they're doing now, or that they're, I guess, redoing, that a lot of people are talking about, is the MJF-Adam Cole storyline. If you don't remember last year, MJF and Adam Cole had this big angle. They had this friendship angle where Adam Cole and MJF were basically, at one point, part of a tag team. They're at one point one of the most over, if not the most over acts in AEW. They're the AEW Tag Champions. They were the Ring of Honor, AEW or Ring of Honor. I know they were the Ring of Honor Tag Champions. I think they were the AEW Tag Champions as well. And it was like everybody was behind that shit. Like literally, it was one of the most over acts in pro wrestling, you could argue. Like everybody was into that shit. Everybody, myself included. It's like you go back and listen to the crowd reaction. You go back and listen to the following and what people were saying about that. It's like you can't deny that was one of the most interesting, one of the most engaging angles in pro wrestling at the time last year. And then you had, the intrigue of this whole devil mask, who was behind the devil mask, people, the person behind the devil mask and all these masked assailants, these guys in black attacking people left and right, attacking MJF, costing him matches and stuff like that. Well, not costing him matches, but, attacking him from behind backstage and shit. And there was this big intrigue as to who was behind the devil mask. And the same devil mask that MJF himself had sported before. So there was a belief that, this person, that person was behind this devil mask. And there were people accusing MJF himself of being behind the devil mask, and it wasn't him. And then you had the big reveal, and at the end of December at World's End, leading up to you had multiple segments. And at this point, Adam Cole was out because he was injured, legit injured, not cleared to wrestle. And MJF and Adam Cole were still champions at the time. Well, they were Ring of Honor champions. And MJF was the world champion. And then going into that World's End pay-per-view, where he had that title match against Samoa Joe, Joe won the title from MJF. And then at the end, you had the big reveal, where Adam Cole was the man behind the devil mask all along. They established the Undisputed Kingdom. They attacked MJF. Boom. There you go. Big payoff. And so, the rest is history. And so, after that, you would think that there would be a continuation. But the problem is that after World's End, going into the beginning of this year, 2024, both Adam Cole and MJF were off TV for a significant amount of time, right? MJF was injured going into that match. Like, in fact, he was injured for like weeks and months prior. It was reported he had I think he tore his or broke his rotator cuff, or I forget what the injury was, but MJF was banged up. And he needed time off. He needed surgery, but he was the champion, and he was doing this angle. He was doing this angle, the devil mask angle, with Adam Cole. And obviously you can't write him off TV because he's the champion, and so they decided to do what they did at World's End. So maybe that kind of expedited the storyline. Maybe they kind of rushed the storyline because of that. There's a number of factors at play there. But MJF was, after he dropped the title to Samoa Joe, he was out for pretty much most of this year. He didn't come back until like what? The spring? May, June, I believe he came back. And Adam Cole himself, who after he literally was revealed as the man behind the devil mask, and he established the Undisputed Kingdom, he himself was off TV for a significant period. Now, he would make appearances, but he would be in a wheelchair, he would have crutches, he was not cleared to wrestle. The story was, the reason why he was making appearances and not wrestling was because he was not cleared to wrestle. This was going back to last year. Adam Cole, to this day, has not wrestled a match in over a year. I think the last match he wrestled was like, what? I forget what pay-per-view. I think it was All Out, All In last year, 2024. That was the last time Adam Cole wrestled a match. He's been out for all that time with injury. This, by the way, coming off him being taking a significant amount of time from a previous year. Adam Cole's been out with injury for a lengthy period of time, almost 2 years, between today and 2022. I think dating back to 2022. But you got this storyline. You got the blow-off, the payoff to this storyline. You got the big reveal of the Devil Mask, this, that, and the third. And then you have both parties involved in said storyline, that being MJF and Adam Cole, take it off TV for a significant period of time. And when that is the case, and again, for reasons, obviously, both guys were injured, both guys were hurt. Adam Cole was making appearances, but he was injured, he couldn't do anything, and MJF was off TV. So how can you further a storyline when both guys are off TV and both guys are hurt? And so really, there's really nothing they could do in that situation. There's really nothing they could do. So of course the storyline went dead. Of course it went cold. Of course people just generally lost interest or just forgot about it entirely, because both guys were off for months. So they had to go in another direction. They had to go in another direction with the world title. They had to go in another direction with the Undisputed Kingdom thing. And so fast forward, MJF returns. At that pay-per-view I mentioned, I think it was, again, I forget what month it was. I'm pretty sure it was May or June or whatever. And MJF comes back, he attacks Adam Cole, because Adam Cole was in the ring at that one. I think it was either Double or Nothing, or I can't remember what pay-per-view it was. But he comes back, he makes his return, he wrestles a couple matches, and then he himself ends up turning. He has this thing with Daniel Garcia, and then he turns on Daniel Garcia. He turns heel. And so now MJF is heel, back to being a heel, which a lot of people say is a good thing, because, heel MJF is better than face MJF. But then, he has his back and forth with, Daniel Garcia, and then, he has his, their big pay-per-view match. He goes over, and then he takes time off again. This time because I believe he's doing movies, he's doing these TV spots and all that kind of stuff. And then Adam Cole himself recently returns this past week at last weekend at WrestleDream. And now people are basically, and now they're seemingly trying to rekindle the Adam Cole MJF feud. However, the problem with it is, number one, there's been so much time between both guys, going back. There's been so much time that has elapsed between when the Devil Mask thing happened and, today. And, when MJF returned back at that pay-per-view back in the spring and attacked Adam Cole was all taken off TV. And MJF pretty much, did his own thing and he turned heel. And now you got Adam Cole making his return, and he goes after MJF. And now it seems like the tables have kind of turned a little bit. Like, in the beginning, when the Devil Mask thing happened, MJF was the babyface and Adam Cole was the heel, because he turned on his friend. And now, coming off the heels of WrestleDream, it seems like MJF is the heel, and now Adam Cole is a babyface. And it leaves a lot of people saying, look, what's the deal with that? It's not even the same storyline. And if you think about it, it isn't. And it kind of makes you wonder, where they're going with it. And so I understand the criticism of saying, well, this doesn't really make sense. It's not the same storyline, or, these two guys, they're on completely different sides of the spectrum again, or they're they basically swap places. And there's no real legit follow-up from what happened previously, outside of MJF just beating up Adam Cole at that one pay-per-view, and spiking him with the pile driver. But all the same, and I understand the criticism, and I understand this and that, and there's certainly valid criticism, but all the same, it's like, what exactly do you expect them to do? When it comes to that particular storyline, when it comes to that whole thing with the Adam Cole MJF thing, coming off the heels of both guys being out for so long and interest in the feud being dead, basically, and this, that, and the third, what do you expect? What do you expect him to do? It's like, if you think about it, it's really a lose-lose situation. Because by the time Adam Cole returned, MJF was a heel. So, what did you want Adam Cole to do? Like, did you want him to return? Like, did you want him to go back to being a heel and they're both heels? And all of a sudden they're chummy again? Or all of a sudden, they're both heels all of a sudden? Or whatever? It was like, that would make even less sense. That would make even less sense. People would be complaining about that. So people were going to find fault with it no matter what. So there's really not much AEW, Tony Khan, or whoever could do in that situation. If they want to continue the storyline between Adam Cole and MJF, it was really a lose-lose situation, So that's my, if you look at it from that way, if you look at it from that perspective, when it comes to that feud, when it comes to that angle, you'll really be better off rather than saying, oh, well, this doesn't make sense, blah, blah, blah. Again, it's perfectly understandable. But you have to understand, they couldn't really have done anything. Like, there's really not much they could do in that situation. And I think that's one of the big things with AEW when it comes to, some of these storylines that kind of tarp away from, or they kind of, fall off or whatever, seemingly, and there's not a real proper finish. A lot of it has to do with guys getting hurt, with guys getting injured, which they can't really control. It's pro wrestling. Guys get hurt. Guys take time off. It's part of the nature of the business. It's the nature of the sport. Just like in other sports, the NFL, MLB, so on and so forth. Guys get hurt. Guys, take time off. And it's not really much they could do in that situation. Yet people are trying to spin that like, oh, AEW is incapable of producing storylines. AEW is incapable of creating, or generating, good storylines or good storyline development, which is complete and utter nonsense, because we've seen some pretty damn good storylines that AEW has produced in the last 5 years. It's just another situation of, both guys getting hurt and, the storyline pretty much suffering as a result. There's not really a whole lot they could do in that situation. So, with that being said, now that I've got that out, I know, again, I'm 21 minutes, I had a lot to explain. It's 22 minutes. But let me just give you guys my idea of what I think they could do with the storyline going forward. Okay? This is just me putting my thinking cap on, if you will. Just, I guess you could, like I said before when I started this video, this could be a little bit of a fantasy booking style video or whatever. Here's what I think they could do going forward. Okay, sorry. So, this is just my idea for how I think they could do this storyline, or how, I don't even want to say fix necessarily, how I think they should do this storyline going forward to try to, garner interest into what they're doing right now going forward. It will work, will not, it all depends. It really all depends. But I think that, genuinely speaking, if they go this route, I think they can garner some interest and salvage the storyline. So here's just my idea, okay? Adam Cole came back, right, at Wrestle Dream. He cut a promo on Dynamite last week, coming off the heels of that Wrestle Dream. And he basically explained why he did what he did. He said MJF is a piece of shit, he's a fake friend, or something. That's the gist of what he said. I'm not going to say word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. So he basically said in so many words, I want a piece of MJF. I want to kick MJF's ass, and he challenges MJF to a match. MJF replies on, not in person, but on the Titantron, I believe in a pre-recorded response. And MJF basically, in so many words, says, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to wrestle you. You're not worth my attention. Or whatever the case may be. In typical MJF fashion. So Adam Cole replies, said, okay, you want to run, you want to hide, blah, 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 that's fine. But at some point in time, I'm going to get my hands on you, and I'm going to kick your ass. Again, paraphrase. And that was it for the segment. So then, so that's pretty much where we stand right now. And we haven't really heard anything from the Saints. Now, I don't think they were on Collision, and, while I did miss part of Collision, I have to go back and see the results of the first hour. But I imagine there was going to be some kind of follow-up to it tomorrow night on Dynamite, because, again, it's Tuesday night, so tomorrow. So here's what I propose. All right, you have Adam Cole go out and cut promos much the same as he cut last week. Or just basically call out MJF, and have a series of him just calling out MJF every show. And I'm not sure if Adam Cole's going to wrestle. Well, I'm sure he is. I mean, why would he be back if he wasn't cleared to wrestle? But Adam Cole could wrestle his matches, or wrestle whatever match, if they have him wrestle in a match, whatever the case may be. And during each show for the next, say, couple weeks, or for the duration of the remainder of the year, have him come out and cut promos either out in the ring or backstage, calling out MJF, right? And MJF basically blows him off or refuses, or whatever the case may be. So have the story be Adam Cole is pursuing MJF, because he wants a match against MJF. Have that be the storyline. MJF right now, at least to my immediate memory, is still engrossed in a feud with Daniel Garcia. If you remember these two guys, it was MJF turned on Daniel Garcia, and that's of course how he turned heel. And it led to a match between them back at All In, which MJF won. And then MJF took time off, and then he recently returned at Wrestle Dream. Well, MJF returned, attacked Daniel Garcia, because Daniel Garcia came out after the Jack Perry match, and he basically beat up, Daniel Garcia, and that's when Adam Cole came out. So I think they should continue. They should further the MJF Daniel Garcia thing, and they should have a rematch between them at either a pay-per-view or a special event show. I'd say one of the pay-per-views they got coming up, be it Full Gear or maybe at Worlds, whatever the case may be. So you build to that. You build to MJF Daniel Garcia. MJF wants to face Daniel Garcia. He blows off Adam Cole, right? They have their match, okay? And I'm sure it will be just as good as the match they had at All In. They have their match. Adam Cole at some point comes out near the end, costs MJF the match. So MJF ends up losing to Daniel Garcia as a result of Adam Cole's interference or distraction, however you want to do that. So Daniel Garcia picks up that win, and he gets, in a sense, redemption for losing to MJF back at All In. So now you got a situation where Adam Cole costs MJF a match, Daniel Garcia gets the rub from going over on MJF, everybody fucking wins, right, at that point. And I know there's some people who aren't necessarily big fans of Daniel Garcia, but again, thinking storyline-wise, I want you guys to be open-minded when I'm in regards to what I'm going with here. So Adam Cole costs MJF a match against Daniel Garcia. So then following that, MJF comes out, he's livid. He cuts a massive promo with Adam Cole. He says, you cost me you cost me a match, you piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. And now he wants to go after Adam Cole. And so from there, you basically build to the feud with Adam Cole and MJF, with the story being MJF wants revenge on Adam Cole for costing the match, and Adam Cole wants a piece of MJF. And now he's, basically getting what he wants here. So from there, you have these two guys exchange promos, and you could have MJF come out maybe during an Adam Cole match, then maybe he has on Dynamite or Collision, and basically attacks him, beats him up, whatever. Get heat on MJF. Beat the shit out of Adam Cole. Target his head or target his neck, whatever previous injury. And from there, you build to an eventual match between MJF and Adam Cole, which in essence would be a rematch of the match they had last year at All In when MJF was the world champion. So from there, you basically have a match 2 between the two, and you give Adam Cole the victory there, or you could give MJF the victory. Well, since MJF won their first match, I think it's only fair Adam Cole wins a second. Now, I'm sure some of you aren't necessarily keen on having MJF lose, matches to Daniel Garcia and then Adam Cole. But again, think about the storyline. I'm thinking this in regards of the ongoing storyline, right? Building hype for the storyline, or building towards the storyline, I'd say. And then from there, you can have the guys continue to go back and forth with each other, and then going into next year, you can have them have a match 3. You can hype it up as a match 3 because MJF won their first match at All In from the previous year when he was champion, and Adam Cole won their second match. And then you could have, we're gonna pay it off. We're gonna have a match 3. We're gonna have a Rumble match, and this will be the big payoff to the feud, right? And you can have it have a special stipulation, or something like that, an extreme stipulation, be it a lights out match, a steel cage, barbed wire, whatever the fuck it is. Have that, do that. Have a big fucking payoff match, big third match on a pay-per-view in 2025. And that is how you conclude the feud. That is how you pay off the feud. Now, as to who wins, that's a coin flip. You could have MJF pull it off. You could have Adam Cole pull it off. It all depends on where you want to go from there. But have that be the payoff. And I guarantee you people will be into that. I guarantee you if you go in that direction, or if you at the very least follow that direction, I guarantee you people will start to get our interest in that. Because who wouldn't want to see MJF and Adam Cole wrestle each other? That is something people can't deny. No matter how, the storyline doesn't make sense, or, this, that, and the third that they're arguing, seeing the MJF Adam Cole match is money. I mean, look at the match they had at All In last year. And MJF, was coming off the heels of, I don't think he was hurt at that point, but, you get what I'm saying. But there's no way that you would get 2 Adam Cole MJF matches in the span of, the next couple months, and people wouldn't be interested in seeing that. There's no way people could not be interested in seeing that. And here's another element too, and I think this will play into the storyline as well, but this is just my suggestion. Adam Cole is part of Undisputed Elite, or he was. He basically established Undisputed Elite when he turned on MJF, when it was dated back to the Devil Mask thing. And when Adam Cole cut that promo, in the beginning, he basically said that he talked with Roderick Strong and the other members of the Undisputed Kingdom, and he basically told them, "Look, guys, I know you got my support, but I need to do this alone." So you could use that, and you could build on that to where Roderick Strong and the other members of the Undisputed Kingdom are basically asking Adam Cole, or that maybe they'll have backstage segments or in-ring segments of why, Adam Cole is basically going off on his own and this, that, and the third, and basically show that they're, distraught or disgruntled, or maybe they, starting to get frustrated because Adam Cole is basically turning his back on them. And Adam Cole says, "I need to do this on my own. You guys, you do your own thing, I'll do my own thing." And then at some point, you can have the Undisputed Kingdom turn on Adam Cole. Have them beat up Adam Cole during the segment. You could even add that maybe MJF pays off the Undisputed Kingdom to turn on Adam Cole, or have some kind of element like that. And then MJF basically recruits Roderick Strong and Mike Bennett. I'm sorry, I get the names mixed up. Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, and recruits the three of them to go after their former leader, or turn on their former leader. You can add that. You can throw that wrinkle into the storyline. And here's another element you could possibly use. I don't know if they're going this route. Kyle O'Reilly, who's part of the conglomeration, who has ties with Adam Cole from his days back when they were part of the Undisputed era when they were in NXT. Have Kyle O'Reilly get involved. Have Kyle O'Reilly come out to Adam Cole's aid. And have Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, basically form an alliance, an allegiance, a new allegiance, and have them have matches against the Undisputed Elite in tag matches, and maybe even go after MJF as well. And then maybe you could basically reform their tag team and have them be a tag team, actually have them be a tag team going forward. And you can reform Future Shock. You can reform the Future Shock tag team. For those of you who don't know, Future Shock was Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. They used to have a tag team back in Ring of Honor, and that was their tag team name, Future Shock. So you can reform, you can reunite Future Shock, and you can even have them compete in the tag division if you want. I know Kyle O'Reilly right now, he's doing this thing with the conglomeration, but personally, I mean, it's fine for what it is. But I personally think an Adam Cole Kyle O'Reilly reunion in Future Shock, you kidding me? You wouldn't want to see that? For those of you who are longtime Ring of Honor fans, you wouldn't want to see Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly teaming up again in Future Shock? That would be some badass shit. Just saying. These are all suggestions I'm throwing out, But I think if you go in that direction, you could most certainly not only get interest into the storyline again and resuscitate the storyline if that's what you want to do. You can add new wrinkles and new elements to the storyline, and you can form new partnerships, new tag teams, new everything. Now, everything that I just listed off, all the matches, the proposed matches, MJF Daniel Garcia rematch, MJF Adam Cole rematch, MJF Adam Cole payoff, reform a Future Shock, have Undisputed Kingdom turn on Adam Cole and align with MJF. Everything I just listed there. That is 3-4 months of storyline I just gave you right there. Didn't even take me 2 minutes to come up with that. Didn't even take me 2 minutes. It took fucking 30 plus minutes to explain here because I had to go over everything that I went over before, but there you go. And that would be, I don't want to say it would be perfect, but if they book it right, if they produce it right, it would be a pretty damn good storyline. And that would be something that I personally would be interested in seeing going forward. But you cannot tell me that you would not want to see MJF and Adam Cole in a pay-per-view match. You cannot tell me that. You cannot tell me that. So that is just my idea as to what they could do to build interest and garner interest in this storyline going forward. And I just figured I'd throw that out there because I hear a lot of people complaining about the MJF Adam Cole storyline doesn't make sense now, blah blah blah, why are they going with it? Well, this is just my idea as to how you can garner interest and get interest back into that storyline and resuscitate it, if you will, and right the wrongs and rectify the wrongs of previous year, which it's not even really a wrong. It's just a matter of circumstance because both guys were out for so long and they never got a proper finish to that feud. Well, I believe if you do this, you can have somewhat of a proper finish to it, and at the very least salvage that. So that's just my idea. That's just my proposal for their storyline going forward. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say for this. Sorry if this ran so long. It's just I had a lot to say. Sometimes I tend to ramble on. It is what it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me your thoughts if you guys have any ideas, like in regards to how you would want to see this storyline go forward. Go ahead and give me your thoughts. Give me your ideas if you so choose. But thanks for watching this video. For those of you who stuck around up to this point, I appreciate you guys tuning into these videos. So thanks for watching again. Be sure to, if you haven't, be sure to hit that like button, leave a like, leave a comment like I said before, and be sure to subscribe to the channel, man, if you haven't already. Appreciate all the support I can get. More content coming very soon, and we'll see what happens on Dynamite. We'll see how they follow up what we saw last week going forward. Coming out of Wrestle Dream. And there's some other storylines, like with the Jon Moxley thing, the BCC thing, and so on and so forth. There's a number of storylines that have potential. It's just that people are fucking, it seems like people are so impatient when it comes to these storylines. Like, people are talking about the fallout for Wrestle Dream. Oh my God, they didn't do anything. Oh my God, what is the Jon Moxley, BCC thing? Oh, they didn't do anything. It's like, people, they're not going to blow their load in 1 week. They're not going to have a payoff or a blow off in 1 week. They're not going to reveal everything after week 1. It's like, these storylines take time. You people need to be patient. Same thing with the Adam Cole MJF thing. You need to be patient. It takes weeks and weeks and months to build. It's just, it takes time. Just be patient, and actually follow and watch these segments, and actually follow and watch these shows, So that's pretty much all I got to say for that. So thank you for watching once again. And I'll be back with more content very soon. But that is going to conclude this video. Thank you for watching once more. Until next time, this has been the Rest of Otaku, and I'll see you guys later. I'm out.